Hey everyone, welcome back to the Freelance Mama. My name is Kelly, and today I wanted to share with you my 5 essential tips for balancing freelancing with motherhood. So, it is always a juggle being a mum, no matter what you do, whether it's, working a day job or working in freelancing or running some other kind of business. We have a lot of stuff to juggle as mums. And so I wanted to share some things that have really helped me over the course of my freelancing career to be able to balance things out a little bit and make life a little bit easier as a freelance mum. So the first thing I have on my list, tip number one, is to time your work to fit your life. So that's one of the great things about being a freelancer is that you have a bit more flexibility about your work. Whereas if you have a 9 to 5 job, this expectation is often that you're there in the office Monday to Friday, 9 till 5. The hours that everybody else is working. But when you have a freelance business, you can pick and choose the work you do to fit it in around your life, or you can set your day up so that you can do the work around the things that work for you. So, one of the things that's really helped me to, with my freelance work over the years has been to put life first. So, when at the start of the year, usually I'll get the school calendar, I'll see where all the school holidays are and any teachers only days or long weekends, those kind of things, where the kids are going to be at home. And I put those on the calendar first and highlight them in a pretty color so that they stand out. So then when I'm looking at what work I can take on, I can have a look at my calendar and say, okay, well, that's school holiday, so it's going to be hard for me to do this there. And so if I want to do a big piece of work that's got a due date around about the school holidays or in the school holidays, then I'm going to have a look and say, okay, well, can I schedule some time before the school holidays to get that done? Because I know for me anyway, it's really hard if I've got a big project on in the school holidays. I try and keep the school holidays free so that I can just spend that time with my kids and not have to worry about working. Of course, that doesn't always work out, but for the most part, I try and plan my work around the school holidays and those kind of things, or anything that my kids have got on at school. So if there's something on at school that I want to be for, I make sure that I plan my work around that. And also, you can time your work to fit in with your day schedule. So now my kids are in school. I know they're at school. I've got sort of a 9 till 3 kind of a window where I can work in. So that for me, that means that I make sure my work is fits in that time. So if I have a meeting, I make sure my meeting is in that 9 till 3 time. Again, from time to time, something will slip and something will have to happen outside of work hours. But I really do try and avoid making any work stuff go outside of those school hours. There's nothing worse than having to take a work phone call at 5 o'clock when you're in the middle of picking up kids or taking kids to swimming or something like that, and you've got to try and deal with that. I've done that before, and often it's a disaster. That's when someone has a tantrum, and it's not professional with your clients, and it's also not great for your kids either, and definitely not great for your own mental health. So I try and time my work to fit in around my life. So my second tip is also to choose work that works for you. So there are lots of different freelance opportunities out there. So some of them might require you to be physically on a site or to go into someone's office to do the work or maybe work in their home. And so if you're someone who has small children who are going to be at home, then obviously it's going to be a lot harder for you if you're wanting to stay at home with those children. And if I'm not uh, trying to sort of criticize anyone who wants to use childcare. I have used childcare a lot over the years, so don't think that's where I'm going with this. But if you are someone who actually does want to stay physically at home with your children, then it's not going to be as practical for you to take on a job that's going to require you to be off-site, or otherwise there's going to be a little bit more planning that's required. So when your kids are small, you might like to choose just only jobs that you can do from your home. So online work or that kind of thing, so the kind of thing that you can do, or maybe work that you can do on the weekends, when someone else might be able to look after your children. So, you've got to think about choosing work that actually fits in with your lifestyle. And it might be that, as the kids get a little bit older, you have a little bit more flexibility to do things outside of the home, but try and choose jobs that work for your lifestyle. Try and set up your freelance business so that it works for you, because ultimately that's why we've set up a freelance business in the first place, is to try and create a business that allows us to balance out work with our lifestyle as well. So tip number three, and it might seem kind of like it's the obvious from the first tip, is to get organized. So Getting organized is not my best quality. And so I can totally relate if you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's a hard one. But the calendar thing has really, really helped me, making sure that every single year I get that calendar out at the beginning of the year, put all the key dates on it so that I know, we know where those things are, and plan around that kind of thing as well. Um, I think it also can be really helpful to get more organized with your household stuff. I'm not, particularly good at this again, but particularly when I'm really busy, when I've had times where I've had to travel for my work, or I've got big projects on, it's been helpful to be more organized around the household things. So things like meal planning, or sometimes ordering in meal boxes when I've been really busy. What are the things that I have on my list? Just things like doing pre-orders and getting groceries delivered or pick them up, that kind of thing. Stuff that just makes your life a little bit easier, particularly around those times when you're busy, because there's nothing worse than being really busy and then, not having the household stuff in order. It just adds to the stress, particularly when you're working from home, having the piles of laundry around, or, not having any bread, just adds to the stress of your day. And I think that's exacerbated, particularly when you're working in a home environment, because all of that stuff is just right there with you all the time as well. So tip number 4 is to set office hours and to make sure people know what they are. So for me, again, this has been really helpful because my office hours revolve around school time. So Mondays, in the early days, I actually limited my days during the week, but once the kids got a little bit older, I made it a Monday to Friday day. So Monday to Friday, school hours, 9 till 3. That is my time. For working. And so it's best to communicate that too. So you can put that in your email signature, or you can have that on your website, or you can have it in a number of different places. You can put it in your welcome letter, or in a contract, all sorts of different things, different places where you can communicate your hours to the people you're working with, just so that it's really clear that you're only available in those sort of hours. And you might think, well, that's, people are not going to want to work with me if I'm not available 9 till 5. Well, that just is what it is. I mean, we have relationships with lots of big companies, and they have office hours. They're available 9 to 5 or whatever it is, and we respect that. And so for us as mums, a lot of the time our office hours are school hours, and or kindergarten hours, whatever the hours are where our children are in childcare. And I think it's way better for you to communicate your availability than to have those situations where people are expecting to be able to get a hold of you all hours, because it just doesn't work. It's just not practical as a mum, as a general rule. And then my 5th tip is to outsource when you need to. So this has been a lifesaver for me, being able to outsource some things. And you might be thinking, okay, well, I've got a small business, I don't have a lot of money coming in. How am I going to outsource things? Well, you can look at, there's different ways you can outsource. So one of the ways you can outsource is just outsourcing to someone else within your household. If you're going to start a business, it might be that your partner needs to pick up some more of the household chores. It might be that you outsource to a grandparent or a friend. Maybe you can get somebody else to do a little bit of babysitting for you so that you can get some work done. But some of the things that have worked really well for me, particularly when I've been really busy. So when I've had a lot of pressure, a lot of job pressure, like a big deadline, or having to work a lot of extra hours, I found it really helpful to bring in some extra services. So one of the things that I did for a long time was to have a laundry service that would come to our house, pick up a big bag of washing, take it away, they wash it, they dry it, they fold it, and they drop it back. And at that time, the job that I was working on, I was getting paid more per hour than I was paying for the person or for the service to come and take our laundry away. And it would have taken me hours to have processed all of that washing myself. So that was an incredibly valuable service to have come in and do that job for me. Again, when I've been really, really busy at times, we've had a cleaner come in to do some housework for us when I haven't been able to keep up with that part of the, household situation, would be to get somebody to come in and pay them. And again, sometimes it can be worth it to be able to take on a job if you feel like you haven't got the hours to do extra work. If you can do the calculations and say, well, actually, it's worth my while bringing in a little bit of extra help to enable me to take on this work, then sometimes it can be worth, seeing if that's an option for you. And, some of the other things too, outsourcing meals. So we have at times ordered, those pre-prepared meal boxes in where you get all the recipe plans and the ingredients all delivered in a box, and then everything is there. It means you don't have to think about it. So just, it makes things to make your life a little bit easier. They don't have to be expensive. They don't have to be outrageous. They don't necessarily, it doesn't have to involve you employing an extra person. It can be just bringing in some extra help around the house to make your life a little bit easier. So hopefully you found that helpful. 5 of my tips for making life easier as a freelance mom, helping you to balance motherhood and freelancing. I'd love to share a little bit more about the journey with you. So feel free to follow along on this page, or otherwise join me on Instagram. And my handle is the Freelance Mama, and same on Facebook. But also, if you are looking for some inspiration for your own freelance business idea, then head along to try.thefreelancemama.com/101 ideas, and you can get my free 101 freelance business ideas for busy mums ebook. Hope to hear a little bit more about your journey, and talk again soon. Bye for now.